Okay, it's insane, but this is a thrift store haul. You should not be buying books. But in an effort to be more social than my inclinations are, I met up with a friend and went thrift store book shopping. Personally, I think Squirrel did it with her mind beams. She loves having books in the house. It's a fact. I'm surprised not everyone knows this. Sweet pea, however, is this time. Oh, there's a book, the Cotton Gold Songbook. I really missed out not doing that this summer. I should have. Working there as staff. Instead, I decided to stay and care for the kittens. And the books. Still looking at the kids' bookcase. But I'm gonna interrupt this with other things because I don't want to just lose my whole audience by only looking at kids' books. Well, I think all books are interesting, and whatever people have in their collections, I'd like to hear about it. I watch a really great YouTube Shorts channel where this woman talks about obscure math textbooks in a college library, and she makes them sound really interesting, and I appreciate her insight and knowledge. I really do believe in all that William Blake stuff about seeing eternity in a grain of sand and so on. Fractals, I think that's the theory of everything. But today with my friend Lisa Barrow, who I met through NaNoWriMo National Novel Writing Month years ago, 2 decades ago now. I went to 2 thrift stores, the first at her suggestion. Both really. And I had just a very small amount of cash on me, and a lot of these books were 50 cents, so it all worked out. Good job, Prisma. First of all, going right to the John McPhee section, just a book by John McPhee. I literally don't know what this is about. In Suspect Terrain, maybe it's a Western. A narrative of land. As in basin and range, the unifying theme is plate tectonics. Cool. Yeah, I think that was $1. John McPhee. Cover design by Cynthia Kruppert. I wonder if she did all these covers that look kind of like this for this company. Noonday Press, a division of Farrar, Straus, and Giroux, New York. So I'm glad to have that. I've read this before, and this book is not in great shape, but it's kind of unusual to ever see it, so I grabbed it. Mary McCarthy, Memories of a Catholic Girlhood. First read about this in Dave Eggers' book, A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius. My son has my copy now. Oh well. Squirrel, the world wants to know. Tell us all the answers. But I remember this being a really vividly written book, and it's about, in part, the 1918 flu and just her whole youth. It's very interesting, written literarily. I remember it. I remember some of her observations. And she did an interesting thing where at the end of every chapter, which had been previously published in a magazine, she commented on, how she wrote it and if she changed anything, etc. Sometimes she admits to liberties. But this is one of those memoir classics that seems unassuming, Memoirs of a Catholic Girlhood, that sounds tame or something. Memories. But she's a really interesting writer that used to be way more popular, I think, than she is now. So that's going into the memoir section. Already very full. Okay, these are going into general nonfiction. Check it. What is this? Official guidebook of Colonial Williamsburg. This thing, look at that. That's not a regular book. It has someone's map inside it, which I unfolded earlier, and it's all just beautiful, beautiful printing. 1968. Classic. Another general nonfiction book. Actually, this should go in the science section. Different section. Creation. I can barely fit it. I'm enjoying this shelf maxing thing I've been doing, where it's just how full can you get a shelf? And still have all the spines legible. Still have the books be accessible. To me, this case is just beautiful. Yeah, shelf maxing, that's what I'm going to call it for now. And then my friend Lisa said that pulling them out to the edges of the shelves is called flushing. Flushing the shelves. I've heard various names. Making to-do lists. I minimized this anthologies section a little bit. It was getting too floppy. This is by E.O. Wilson, the famous biologist. Right? Is that what I'm thinking of? Oh. This looks intense. This guy studied ants. I'm second guessing myself on this one now. But Postgraft. Check it out. The author of this book probably held this copy of this book. That's great. Sometimes I've been at like a music show and I'm like, I've heard these songs on this band's album. Now I'm hearing them play them here. Now, this kind of stuff's good to have and read, and you gotta get fired up about protecting your own planet once in a while. Put some baked down tags. I mean, I'd keep the autograph thing, I guess. This is going in the booklet section. In 2001, I walked from Key West, Florida to Cape Gaspé, Quebec, Canada with a group of 5 other hikers. And toward the beginning, we walked across the whole Everglades, south to north, and it was awesome. And it's burned that place into my mind forever. And recently, writing about that experience got me thinking and reading about that area again. I read Swamplandia and Oh, Florida, a very good nonfiction book. But the Everglades are super mysterious, amazing area. In my script, in What We Found When We Walked Across America, my 7-part miniseries script, it's also a chapter of book 2 of my book. I know, it's weird, whatever. I have a lot of music video type sequences, like Easy Rider. And I mean, why not? Why not write down the name of a song in a book? Is there any law against that? Seems like it'll make the movie show more likely to get made someday too, by getting in an audience elsewhere. But in that, I score the hikers walking through the Everglades to a suggestion of Brian Eno's song "An Ending Ascent." This beautiful, like liquid piece of ambient music. It just sounds so peaceful. If you think about anything emotional, it'll get you. Anyway, okay, a booklet's cool, and a photograph illustrated booklet about True Tales of the Everglades looks right up my alley. My friend Lisa said, sometimes a book just finds the right person, in the case of that one. My friend Jessica here in town grew up in the Everglades. She was like canoeing around in the swamps when she was like 5 years old. I'm not even kidding. Her childhood stories are wild. She's like, oh yeah, we had a rule, don't pick up the square grouper, meaning the bales of cocaine. Okay, good one. Okay, this is like a 1958 paperback, so that's super awesome. The Merchant of Venice. It's also a Shakespeare play I did not have, so I finally added to my growing every paperback copy of Shakespeare's plays collection. Like, I'm gonna have to expand. Maybe that gap next to Virginia Woolf, I'll move the 2 together. But it's a beautiful cover. I wonder if this is that one artist that I looked up before. I rather think it might. No front art credit. Milton Glaser, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah, I've got more Shakespeare books that don't fit into this part, so maybe it is time to rethink it. I don't love the layout. I think I prefer these on an edge. Anyway, I was happy to get this today. I guess this contains one of his most infamous racist caricatures, people say. This Jewish merchant. I think actors for years have been like, no, I'm going to tone this one down. Okay, I've got a little room at the tops of my sci-fi collection, so that means I can do this sort of thing. Work more into the shelving space that I have. Shelf backs in, yeah. I got a couple of paperback sci-fis. Who can say no to paperback sci-fi? Certainly not me. The Demolished Man by Alfred Bester. Prize-winning classic of science fiction. Oh, I love how this cover tells me nothing except psychedelic freak out awaits you. Love it. What's going on here? Oh man, gives me nothing. It's excellent. Rainbow vision, brain gun, mirror stuff going on. Manhunt in 2301. Police are trained to read minds. Crime is unknown, escape impossible, but in this crime-proof culture waits a rebel, a man about to commit a murder so perfect, so startling that it will defy detection. One of the most influential and incidentally most creative and enjoyable volumes in modern science fiction. Books. Books said that? That must have been a magazine. I once wrote a piece where it was like about a sculpture being built outside of a library and being dedicated to books. And then what I wrote, I said, thanks, said books, because that's a word many of them contain. This is beautiful. I want to display this. It's crazy. I feel like it was created to drive me insane. And this is also beautiful. Sehr beautiful. But the reason I got this one is because it's got a Clifford Simak story. He's great. He writes pastoral sci-fi. I may have reviewed one of his books on this channel. If not, I should have, because I read it not long before starting this channel. Yeah, it's a lot of it's just a rural road trip in this weird future. With like a robot and a witch and looking for this star pad that will catapult humanity's remnants to the stars. Cool, fun, good read. This one I loved, and 2 of my kids at least read it and loved it also. It's just kind of rip-roaring. It's all set pieces. It's got cool big ideas, like a woman that gets trapped in a spaceship for tens of thousands of years and becomes this like super intellect from all her time just spent as a mind, just trapped that way. I got this from a pulp rack at House of Sarah bookstore in Cambridge, Massachusetts back in 2000, but I've actually like read it a bit. It's good. Introduced me to a good author. I haven't read this one, but that's how we do a cover, boys. Oh yeah, look at this thing. So anyway, there's a Clifford Simak story in here. Who else? Albert Compton, Friedberg, Eric Cole, Robert Abernathy, Tom Goodman. Haven't heard of any of them. But that's cool. And this space thing is great. I like that 5 with the sun. It's good stuff. This is alright. Oh, these are like art crit, lit crit. So I discovered this mark after I got it. Bizarre books. Yeah, books like this are worth a read through. Do I foresee myself keeping this? Who knows? But maybe it'll give me a list of some things I want to read. And maybe the ideas will be like conceptual works where they stimulate the mind just to think about. This, I thought, it would be funny. I could nerd out about the Hunger Games and tell Willow, actually, did you know? My daughter's been reading the original trilogy. But I was like kind of just impressed. Oh, this is in the culture now. People are like, it's like taught in schools. You know, I get that vibe. I think that trilogy is better written than the large majority of YA, you know. It's got something special going on. But yeah, it's kind of being brought into like literature that you say, hey, that's cool, whatever it takes. Get people excited about stories. My son's all excited about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. He saw a trailer. Bizarre books. I wonder what's a bizarre book in here. Life and Laughter Amidst the Cannibals, 1926. 5,000 Miles on a Sledge, 1889. Diseases of Electrical Machinery, 1939. Keeping Your Tools Tip-Top, 1954. My Invisible Friend Explains the Bible, 1971. So Your Wife Came Home Speaking in Tongues, So Did Mine, 1973. Darjeeling Disaster, Its Bright Side, 1900. That's the one Wes Anderson movie I've never seen, Darjeeling. I should say that. What else we have here? Well, this will be a challenge to fit these into the writing bookcase, but I'll figure it out. Maybe something else will go. But this paperback lured me in like a siren onto the rocks of buying it once again. That's a weird metaphor. Okay, 2 centuries of the art of the novel, beginning with Tom Jones, huh? Oh, Joseph Conrad, why did you have to call a book that? But look at the beautiful color scheme. I mean, what? The art of reading the novel. A novelist's perceptive study of the major works of Fielding, Melville, Hardy, Conrad, Lawrence, Henry James, Proust, Virginia Woolf, and Albert. I mean, this sounds amazing. Philip Freund. I'll tell you who's a brilliant critic is the guy who did the DVD commentary on the movie Blow Up. I think he said his name was Paul Burnett. Excellent reading of it. I learned so much. I feel like I took a philosophy class. That movie is about everything having its value only in context. It's about a lot, actually. It's a very rich film. I'm kind of glad I watched it twice in a row, the second time with the commentary. Anyway, when you encounter good criticism, it's just satisfying. It's like, thank you. You just deepened this work and my experience with this work and made my time seem better spent. And call your books. Okay, makers of beautiful books, apparently. I love the paperback. I worship at the 2001 style monolith of the paperback. I leap around it as a tribe of proto-humans. Bookstore shopping with my friend Lisa today was kind of funny because she wanted all the same stuff as me. I was like, ugh, I want that Billy Bud. No, it's all right. You can't have everything, and sharing is good. The idea of a theater, study of 10 plays, the art of drama, and changing perspective. I love it. I'm going to be writing a chapter that's a depressing play for book 1 of my book, Modern Literary Criticism. I could put this in art crit, lit crit. It's like theater crit. But I have a couple of books like that. Oh yeah, 4th of July is coming up. There's going to be some fireworks. It's a beautiful book. I love this finish. Wow. It's a 1968 printing. I love 60s books. They're my fave. If society collapses and we rebuild it among the ashes, I'm going to have 1960s paperbacks be my currency. You'll get nothing from my farm with that one. No, probably after the apocalypse we won't be able to generalize, or specialize. This one is just so great. That is going to be a challenge. Fitting anything else on that case, maybe I can move things a little bit. There's one or two that could be in other sections. Okay, this is fiction. Large size fiction, not small size fiction. That big green bookcase. Lisa gave this to me. She had this in her car. And it's an ARC, like an advanced copy. But that's fine, ARCs tend to wander through people's collections. Sometimes it's a great way to get to know something. She said it was good. She read it. After committing an act of petty theft in an antiques market, he finds himself trapped inside a wardrobe and delivered to... That's funny. That sounds a little zany. Plot threads ingeniously tied together. Okay. That could be satisfying. Translated. From the Shadows. San Jose Mias. My friend Lisa knows all these Spanish language authors, I think, because she reads in English and Spanish. She is in a bilingual household. That is so wild and cool. John Cheever. I came up with this literary project because I kept coming across John Cheever biographies about him and memoirs by his family members and stuff. So I'm like, I guess I'll just acquire these and I'll read them all and really know everything there is about John Cheever, and then I'll read all his work and see how that informs it. So I got to the part where I read a bunch of books about him, and then I never read his books. That's so weird. Whatever. Now I'd have to reread those books because I don't remember much. But weird title, The Wop Shot Scandal. Sounds poignant. Continuing saga of the Wapshot family. Oh, sequel. Well, I don't have the first one. Am I a completist of this guy? Keep it for now. Yeah, you might be a completist. This blew my mind that it existed. The complete short stories of Thomas Wolfe. I didn't know he had short stories. I thought he was just a big, long autobiographical novel guy. But cool. Ever since reading A. Scott Berry's Editor of Genius about Maxwell Perkins, Wolfe's editor, and Hemingway's editor, and Fitzgerald's, and Marjorie Kinnon's Rawlings, and I've just been interested in all those people. And I can relate to Wolfe a little bit because I've been working on this crazy, huge maximalist novel. It's bloomed to 2 volumes and maybe 4,000 pages, and it's multimedia in its way. It's going to be awesome. Shadows of Clouds in the Mountains. But when he first brought his first novel, Look Homeward Angel, to Thomas Wolfe, then called Oh Lost, I think, it was 10,000 pages in a trunk, a couple of trunks, I think. So, I don't know, it felt relatable. See also that professor in Wonder Boys, based on the Michael Chabon story, pacing his pages down the street. Sometimes projects just get away from you and they go maximalist, but I'm going to see mine through. I'm glad to have this. I want to get nice copies of all of Wolfe. Yeah, I do. When I saw this, I realized that. There's also a biography of him there that looked great in content, but it was kind of a beat-up old large-sized copy. And you gotta make choices. when you only have a set amount of cash in your hand. Okay, here are 3 that are going to upset a balance, because when I get paperback literary fiction, that means I've got to eliminate something else from that case. That means those books have to go to a different section. Maybe that happens sometimes. They'll be like, this one could go with the pulp, I guess. But I'm just like, it's a very refined section. So Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained, I'm like, this is something important that like readers and writers should have read. And here it is available to me. And I'm saying this project is about like the range of paperback trades that are available to someone at my time and place. So I should get this, you know? Plus I have this really beautiful book of Milton criticism right here. Paradise Lost and its critics. It's like a history of its criticism. I mean, that sounds amazing. So if I read that, I'm definitely going to read this. I mean, just look at this book. I'm going to read this whole thing in public just because it's like so beautiful. The world should see it. Except that might make me look snobby. That would definitely make me look snobby. But that's not why I would want to read it in the world. I don't care. I'll yell at the peasants. I bet you can't even read. So anyway, yeah, I've got Paradise Lost and Regained. Euripides, Medea, Hippolytus, Helen. Okay, classic Greek plays. Already got some of those, but I'm like, I gotta get these, I guess, if they're available. And then this is such a nice copy of this. I have a trash copy of this in my closet that was literally found on the side of a trash can on that hike across the country that I've mentioned. My friend Dakota, who I still talk to on the phone, found it and brought it to this house we were staying at. Where was this? I want to say Maine, but could have been Connecticut. And somehow we ended up performing like a lot of this play. I want to say all of it, but like it was crazy. And the people in the house were totally into it, and we were all into it. It was like this meta thing. It was like Dakota just picked up this book. He's like, look what I found by the trash can. He handed it to somebody, John or Jeff, one of these other people that was there. They started reading it and then passing it around. And everyone was at just that like right degree of merry, happy to be taking a break from the hike. And we read this whole play. I'm pretty sure of it. And that's definitely a scene in my script about that hike. It was very funny. But so anyway, I found this nice copy of it today. We like performed it. It was funny. Somewhere in there. Well, who knows? I'm not gonna go rummaging. But that's gonna be, I'm gonna have to figure out what goes onto the shelf or not. I also was looking at a copy of The Scarlet Letter. It's like, maybe I should have that in there. I was looking at The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. That's kind of been important in American literature and history. And then this is kind of out of character. This is the kind of thing I might have gotten as an audiobook back when I was listening to a ton of audiobooks. But History of the World in 6 classes. When you're just like getting nonfiction almost indiscriminately. I'll just learn about that. But a coworker of mine, principal at Monsanto, Aaron Peterson, was like, this book is so interesting. So, taking her recommend. It's kind of weird that she recommended it, and then like 2 weeks later I see this. I've never seen this book before. If I had, it hadn't been for a long time. So I'm like, well, all right. And would I actually like to learn this stuff? And it's fun to talk about facts and stuff like that, and why not learn about liquids that have a common place in your life? I read this graphic history, it was like a comic book history of the story of beer, and that was very interesting. And the goddess that was attached to that in early Mesopotamia, and how it was drunk through these straws with sieves, because there were so many chunks in it. And then it predated bread. It was so interesting. And the bread was made as a byproduct of the yeast process from making beer. That's crazy. So it's fun to nerd out when you learn some of that biz. Looks all right. This looks like a really interesting book. Language changes. They wouldn't say Indian today, probably. They'd say Native American. For sure. But I bet this has a ton of good just knowledge and history and data. And when you write about the West, it ends up being about colonization and the peoples of the West. And this looks right up my alley and will definitely inform something that I write and probably be block quoted somewhere. So it looks pretty cool. When's this book from? 1973. Whoa. Lots was yet to come. Pipeline protests in North Dakota. You know, I have a lot of books about the Posey War being the last Indian War, they called it. But you could say that about the North Dakota pipeline protests. Those were so violent toward the protesters. They were getting fire hosed in the middle of winter. Yeah, I mean, this was the last until then, maybe. But not really, because Alcatraz happened between, well... Anyway, I bet this book's interesting. And look at this old school packaging. Wow. So basic. But right on. And I was looking at all these different DVDs, but in the end I ended up just getting this one. And I watched it when I got home, and I thought it was alright. And it was also, like, obviously a sandbox for Ben Stiller to work out the aesthetic of Severance. I mean, lots of icy hallways and Fassbinder-like architectural grid-like divisions of the screen. And there was even a choice between a red and blue car, like the red and blue pill in the Matrix. You know, he's like this Matrix-like symbolism throughout. And there's even a scene where he asks for a severance package. That's interesting. Coincidence, funny. But, you know, I think Ben Stiller's getting re-examined lately as a director because of the success of Severance. And people are like, oh, didn't he do The Cable Guy and Reality Bites and Tropic Thunder? Hey, those are all good movies. And people are revisiting this one a little bit. And it's pretty wild. And it's crazy that this movie has a little flimsy short story that it's kind of been a classic through schools reprinting it, I think, and reusing it. About a guy who daydreams and has like a secret inner life. This is a totally, barely, tangentially related story to that. At best, it's like Fantastic Mr. Fox, where the first part is an adaptation of the book and then it keeps going. But I guess I enjoyed it, and there's a really funny scene where he imagines telling this girl he likes, woman he likes, that he's got Benjamin Button disease, and it's very funny. Kristen Wiig plays his love interest throughout, and that scene is laugh out loud funny. I'm fine with adding to the DVD collection until it fills the space, vertical and horizontal. After that, that's enough. I'm trying to watch the DVDs I have more because I have these like idle moments where I'm just like eating or something, cleaning up something or something when I have something on. It's your new home now. Figure that out later. General nonfiction to deal with later. You know, I really didn't know this was a sequel when I got this. Space is kind of precious on my shelves. I'm not likely to read this until I have the one before it. Well, let's just try to be achiever completist for a moment. Nice. I like having an active stack, you know, where you can still just easily add something in. Got one going on here. Those little short stories. Yeah, I love my book collection, and I'm loving it with this like specific look that I'm going for lately. Shelf maxing. Pulling everything to the edges and filling them up. All the while refining the collection so that everything is there is something that I want to read. Prismo, why is there so much hatred in the world? Why? Prismo, tell us. Squirrel, where's the love? Okay, the writing section. These are going to be tricky. This could go in lit crit, you know. That's really what it is, honestly. And this is in that. The thing is reading is writing in a big way. You gotta read. Think about the complexities of work. Maybe I could just put these all in art crit. Crit. Wow. I just love this book. I want to exhibit it. To organize later. Maybe. Oh, I love that spine. That's just so pretty. Squirrel. How can a book be so beautiful that it breaks your heart? What's the answer, squirrel? Alright, I'll find a place for that later. Okay, same with the sci-fi. I'm just going to go around and put all these where they will go. And then I'll organize them. I'll probably go under books like that. Oh, this is fun. True ephemera, because no one cares. Really old edges of notebook paper faded by the sun. This could be from the 50s. if I ate it. I get any weird 50s powers. I just immediately get dementia. Milton Glaser. Yeah, it could be. A different style, but he was malleable. Probably did that Secret Share coverage, yeah. We got ourselves a situation with the Shakespeare section. I don't know. Got to rethink some things over here. This book collection is like my bonsai plant. I feel like if I ever get it exactly where I want it, my life will be good around it too. I feel it radiating out and affecting everything. Like, to have a bookcase, you gotta pay the bills and keep it going, you know? It's so annoying how everything in life is connected. Okay, this goes in the booklet section. Oh yeah. This is actually a great section. I kind of like it to be completely full. It almost is. Before I do a video on it. Anthologies, which is this case here, was a big video. Got a few, like, 100 watches. Maybe booklets would as well. Booklets would be a long video because there's actually 4 sections of them. Here, Southwest. Oh, Lake Powell, Glen Canyon. Forgot about these. There's tons. The Cliff Notes of the literary section. There's some bunch of choice ones, I guess. 1, 2, 2. This is not staple bound, but I think it's so cool. It's all of the Cliff Notes about Shakespeare's comedies in one book. We got this great booklet series here. Each one about a different classic author. Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. That was one I did buy today and thought about. I might not have a copy. Do I? I'll find you a home, The Art of Reading a Novel. I will. Don't cry, The Art of Reading a Novel. Science. Yeah, later. It's plain old nonfiction, I guess. It's about Virginia. Oh, Virginia. Memoir. The memoir shelves are getting full. For now. And maybe permanently. We'll see. Now I gotta figure that one out. The best to measure that little color experiment over here. Oh, this will be fun. Yeah, I'm glad I'm building a John McPhee library. That's pretty cool. Though some of the McPhee I have are doubles. What did I do with that coming out of the country? Oh, there it is. I still have it. So I have 2 coming into the countries. Survival of the Bark Canoe. Encounters of the Arch Druid. Rising from the Plains. I have 2 Rising from the Plains. Now I have In Suspect Terrain. It's like he's writing a poem with all his titles across his career. All poetic clauses. Coming into the country. Survival of the Bark Canoe. Rising from the Plain. In Suspect Terrain. Encounters with the Arch Druid. Yeah, it's all good. I'll have to figure that one out soon. Anyway, this has been Thrift-store-score with Mike. A game show in which only I win books I have to pay for. But someday I will buy all the books, because maybe this book will be successful. Shadows, Clouds, and the Mountains. Alright, what does it all mean? What's it all for? If you're rich, send it my way. Oh yeah. If any of you found treasure on the beach, send me 2pence. Or whatevs. Now, I'm gonna get an empty box and film it on camera and say, send me any amount of money and I'll fill this box with books. Just tell me like one thing about your taste and I'll send it your way. Because this channel's cool. It's kind of cool stuff I do. Also because I'm a skeleton on the Sahara. Tons of fireworks. But my PTSD doesn't kick in from 2022. 2/3 of the way through this, and this is so funny sometimes. Oh my gosh, what? As a classic come to life. It's great to read a prose translation of an ancient work. It just like introduces you. That helped me with Gilgamesh early on. It helped me with the Odyssey, and I appreciated them beyond those prose translations. Alright. To quote Skyrizi, nothing is everything. Michael Farrell Smith at PayPal. Deets in the description. Or whatever. Just watch the channel. Or don't. I don't know why I'm doing this channel. And it's like, it's an ongoing identity crisis. But, you know, I've kind of started this project of like, let's look at a whole book collection. Mine. It's not even the biggest book collection in the world, you know. It's like a few thousand books at most. And I limit it and cultivate it. but it's still like a big project. I think part of what I'm learning is that it can never end. I'll just keep describing it in different ways. It's a big postmodern conundrum. Made me read less but read more but write less. Squirrel worries me when she pokes around in the closet. What are you doing? Back when I wrote for the Weekly Alibi, the local alt weekly, I got to judge some hip hop contests. This was one of them. It was so cool. I literally had like an almost out of body experience talking to my 13-year-old self. I'm like, see, you'll do some cool things. When that turned up, I'm like, I'm keeping that out. It's a good show too, great music. But this could be a hilarious, big budget, like HBO series. Just adapt the whole thing. Have everyone's stories. It could be 3 seasons. You know? This is a classic. Just the first chapter alone is the basis for both A Knight's Tale, that Heath Ledger movie with Queen songs, and the recent movie Challengers, which I guess is about tennis, but somehow it's connected to this. Okay. I just read a chapter that the Book of the Dun Cow is obviously based on, a great children's chapter book set in medieval times. I'm like, oh, if I had ever known that was based on the Canterbury Tale, I forgot. I think other eras have been more interested in this than this one. My dad named a restaurant Canterbury Carnival once, a long time ago. And another Piccadilly Fish and Chips, something about ye olde England. Yeah, I think I still do have a touch of the PTSD. After our house got shot in 2022, it was very difficult to get through The Sopranos. Freaked out on a kid at a high school that was playing Grand Theft Auto, and I was like, oh, I can't handle this. Beat him to death. No, that's not true. I did ask him to turn it off. I kind of love the shelf max look. I think it's fun. It's cool. Still got some room on the bottom there. Okay, we're gonna look at some more books for younger readers next. Anne of Green Gables, maybe that series. I hope I can hip some people to the Tripod series when I do a video on that, because that is just, whoa, so good. So a classic. Classic, for sure, classic. And this was an oddly important book to me at a certain point in middle school. Like, this book's great. This will tell you the meaning of the bird you saw in your dream. Yes, this has been Thrift-store-score book day, whatever. Hello, everybody. I'm excited to get to the fairy tales and folk tales section. Prisma, Prisma.